It seems that there were real consequences for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel of trying to sweep the Epstein stuff under the rug. And I don't mention Dan Bongino because, to be fair, he's the one who has looked more triggered. Maybe not by the case itself, but by the way it's been handled. So much so that it seems that he is about to leave due to differences with the Attorney General and a bitter state of disappointment in the way the Epstein stuff has been dealt with. Allegedly, this is a condition that Bongino has made very clear to Donald Trump. You either fire Pam Bondi for the way that she's handled this both in front and behind the cameras, or I'm leaving. And some of you might be asking, well, what is the big deal of Dan Bongino leaving in all cases? And in my opinion, how I see it is that thanks to Bongino's podcast throughout the years, he has amassed not only a following, but also a big reputation with conservative Americans. The thing that Pam Bondi doesn't have, I'm not saying that she doesn't have a good track record. Trump must have chosen her for a reason. The constant contradictions, the way that she has expressed herself in every instance, and even some duping delight smiles here and there, are not a good look for the Trump administration. Even if the Epstein files is still a case that's been dragging for years, that's one thing. And it's just one thing in the great scheme of things that they have been dealing with. The problem is the amount of attention that it has attracted, precisely because it's been dragging for years. And everyone thought that this being Trump's second term, he had nothing to lose in regards to draining the swamp for real, whatever it takes. And what better way to kick off than with dealing a blow to all those PDF files in the deep state? But it turns out that those clients don't exist. There were no clients. There's no list. There's no black book. Epstein didn't even record those videos with children. He downloaded them. But I already made a video with definitive proof that the Epstein list or black book or records of all those perverts does exist. Now, we need to frame this the right way. Because if there's something that some people in the MAGA space are right, is that Trump did not run on the Epstein issue. You can still go to Donald Trump's website and check that none of his 20 core promises made during the campaign makes any references to PDF files or draining the swamp. There's not even the word corruption in any of these bullet points. There is one mention in the page named Big Ideas, Bold Ambition, and Daring Dreams for America's Future, which was this one. Drain the swamp of Washington corruption. And I don't know, but if you can have debauchery on the Senate's floor caught on camera, you tell me what can happen in a remote island. But nothing happening there, right? Or at least that's what Bondi has been trying to say. She went from, I have the files on my desk, you're going to be shocked of what we found, there are thousands of videos of Epstein with children. Oh, when I was asked about the client list, I meant the files. No, really, the thousands of videos were downloaded from the internet, LOL. Stop asking questions about this, the case is closed. And she said that, flanked by the Don himself, who was very clear about how asking questions about this meant that you were desecrating the victims of the Texas floods. I already put the clips in my body language analysis of that. So even if Trump did not run on this issue directly, a lot of people who voted for him wanted a new America. Make America great again, and not just as a nice slogan. And part of Make America Great Again would be transparency. And when Kash Patel was confirmed and Dan Bongino entered the team, people were justifiably exhilarated about this. This is the real deal. They're going to clean up this mess. This is the chance that we've been waiting for to have our country back. And I think that more than Kash Patel, the figure that better represented that opportunity was Dan Bongino, precisely for the reputation he had been building over years on his podcast. Asking the uncomfortable questions, giving his insights as ex-Secret Service, and doing all that he could for people to get the answers to what was going on in Washington, D.C., especially during the Biden and Harris administration, and all that they did to undermine the safety and security of Americans. Bongino could be seen as the one of us that was going to be behind closed doors, finally taking a direct look at the worst stuff. The files, the videos, the tapes, JFK, MLK, and of course, Jeffrey Epstein. He was like Krista McAuliffe in The Challenger, a regular citizen given the opportunity to... Oh, no, wait. Bad example. Scratch that. So it was really concerning to see him just a few short weeks ago during an interview with obvious signs of nervousness and claiming that the work was taking a toll on him and his family. I mean, I'm already against men complaining about their life. And yes, I'm sure that Bongino, in whatever time he had spent staring into the FBI abyss on steroids, that was taking a toll on him. But he knows that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and he knew that not only his audience, but the majority of Americans were counting on him. My guess is that his nervousness during that interview was not because of the things the FBI was dealing with, but the dealings within the FBI itself. More precisely, the way that the Department of Justice, and specifically Pam Bondi, was handling the Epstein thing in public. So you understand by this point that, okay, the Epstein stuff has never been a priority for the Trump administration. We could say that the most important focus should be on two more urgent topics, such as the mass deportations and recovering the economy, that are orders of magnitude more complex and affect Americans' lives directly. But the problem is that optics and public opinion don't work like this. If your attorney general says that she's going to release a ton of stuff, then Bindergate happens, which was an embarrassment in itself. Then you try to sweep everything under the rug, and Donald J. Trump himself says the words, "Why do you keep asking questions about Epstein?" Well, that is a bad look, because that is adding fuel to the fire. Well, that is on brand for Trump, so there's that. That's how we arrive at this point, in which even Kash Patel is rumored to want to quit over the way all this has been handled. Because at the end of the day, even if, granted, there's more urgent stuff to deal with, this is a lack of transparency. And transparency is indispensable for trust. And I don't need to tell you what happens if you don't trust your government. Now, we need to keep things into perspective and realize that Trump, in a very short time, has done a lot of the stuff that he said he was going to do, in spite of pretty much every Obama and Biden appointed judge in the United States. So keeping your promises is a big way of keeping the trust of the people who elected you. But what happens when people start connecting dots and asking questions, namely how Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and Pam Bondi are connected through the lobbying firm Ballard Partners? Wiles ran that firm for nearly a decade, and Bondi was a partner earning more than $1 million, according to sources. So when I read tweets saying that they are best friends, well, at least there is a connection, a money connection. And apparently, because of that, Donald Trump won't fire Bondi because Wiles simply won't allow it. I'm going to elaborate about that in another video, so make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my political commentary here and on my Power Pundit channel. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Bottom Language Guy. Much love and bliss.